dog was slippery. I knew it was going to be. Oh, look at that. Bike still run. Oh, that clutch. Oh. So you guys, here's the tubeless instructions. Watch the video first. Okay, Moto Day. Today I am finally gonna try to attack removing the wheels and for new tires with the tubeless system. Get these old Dunlop's stalkers off. The Geomax AT81s. So they're not working so well. So let's move on from that. We need light, of course. It's just above freezing. If you don't know, my name is Marcel Ernie, pro superbike racer. When I say superbikes, I mean superbikes, road racing. BMW S1000 RR, named Merlin, and you know, and then I got this old Gixxer 600, which my students can ride, or I teach with rider training. Got my old RMZ 450, and a Ninja 400 that also needs to be turned into a race bike. So I've never used this for dirt bike tires before, but that's what these are for. Okay, so we're giving this head cam a little try, guys. First thing, remove the rear wheel, and let's go pull this off. I got the nitro mousse in there, some Loctite on there, of course, blue Loctite on everything. Oh, the axle, nice stainless axles here. Of course, you know, like to work with a clean machine. First thing I gotta do is probably loosen up the rim lock. I think it's gonna be probably 11. No, it's a 10. All right. Let's take this over to the NOMAR, into the snowy wonder world. Okay. I'm gonna just lay the tire on and squish the bead. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, this could be difficult. Oh yeah, my lubricant is frozen too, shit. Definitely harder to get the dirt bike tire with the mousse to get into the dog blocks of the NOMAR machine. You know, you have to force them down until they hook in, so really gotta do a good job at breaking the bead. Again, get rid of these for the street bikes. And, I mean, you might even get that to work, but it's the tire. The tire is gonna hit. That's why it needs these cutouts. See the cutout right here, guys? So I gotta figure out the fit for these dog blocks and line up. So that one's pretty good. This one's pretty good. This is freaking tough because you gotta compress the rim down. And there's air in it like a foam. Oh my God. It's just slipping and sliding. Maybe this is not the best way to do a mousse with this machine. Some knee pads would be useful, huh? Just put my weight on it. Oh, I got it. It's gonna go. Come on. There we go. It's gonna be locked in. Okay. I wonder if I got any lube in here that's gonna work. It's freaking completely frozen. Shit. So I'm just gonna put them all in a row, and let's start with the front one. And as I'm doing that one, and then I start with this one, it's a little deep, maybe. Oh, I'm making progress. It's too much. It's not in the drop center enough. I'm getting it. First time, guys. I know I don't know what the hell I'm doing, so it's not a how-to video, it's a how-to-learn video on your own. Just learn how to scratch your rims. I think I got it. Get off that damn mousse. Nitro in there. I got it. Pushing back on the tire, on the rim. Try to hook this. There. Nobody. Oh, you can see the rim lock pushes right into the, right there. You see how the rim lock pushes in into the nice Mousse. This Mousse is still reusable. Should be able to get another tire out of that Mousse, but looking at putting in the tubeless for the rear. This is the high pressure bladder right here, high pressure bladder. And then just this one goes into the actual tire, which you're gonna run low pressure. So they're spaced out. So essentially, here is for the tire valve that was already there, and then this one was for the rim lock that used to be on there and it's been filled in with the Mousse because I was running a Mousse with silicone. So I'm just gonna, what the instructions say is 11 millimeter 7/16 drill bit, and so essentially 4 spokes over, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so they're already there on the KTM. You don't even have to find new holes. And sometimes it's a trick to actually drill out the actual air pressure, or right here for the tire valve a little bigger, so there's a little bit of movement, because you don't want to rip a tire valve off if it moves slightly. So some people actually just drill both holes bigger. So there's a little technique. And then you go, drill 11 millimeter 7/16 hole, use sandpaper, plug any unused holes. Drilling through my nice new rim. There it is. So now I'm going to clean it out with some sandpaper. You don't want any. I want it to be nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. Since we're going to be using the tubeless tape wrap, which comes with the kit, guys, part number RT27. So you're going to wrap this around 3 times. I don't know if there's a point to keep this or just roll it off. It's been doing its job. There's the lubricant from the Mousse that's all underneath. So, yada yada yada. Grab some fine grit sandpaper. I'm using emery cloth, and you know, just make sure there's no sharpness on the spokes. Nothing, you know, nothing sticking out or anything. Just get it in there, work it around. The emery cloth is a little strong for this. And it's freezing. So yeah, just work out the hole. Just using my NOMAR mount to hold the rim, but freaking thinking about going in the garage. It's so cold out here. Nothing wrong with cleaning everything, getting the paint. The less paint you have on the edge of the bead, the more traction it'll have, so that it won't move on you. You won't slip a bead. The tire won't slip, move around the rim. In street bike world, we actually take all the paint off, and we use like acetone to get it all off, because we can't have our tires slipping going out of balance. A lot more torque going under that stuff. Now I'm taking like a Scotch-Brite, you know, so it's just much softer, shine everything up. Again, let's start right where the hole is. Just, you know, prep. Why not prep? Take the time, guys. We're not paying a guy labor. You're doing it yourself. So get all that material clean and smooth as possible. It's around -1 degree right now, and I'm in the shade. There's no sun. And apply 3 wraps of tape per instructions. Cut and remove tape over holes. So that's the next step, is to wrap her up with the tape, and then we'll move on to setting up the distance of the bladder, the inner bladder to the outer, to match the alignment of the holes. Just one more, guys, to make sure I don't have anything that's going to get in the way of the rim tape, is using compressed air. I got the tape out of the package, and it came with an update. And what that update was saying is you're gonna wrap it 3 times around, and if you can see, it wants you to put it in the center and then just up to the shoulder edge and up to the shoulder edge on the 2nd and 3rd. You do not want to go on the shoulder. And so when they say, if you look at this, essentially is you don't go on the shoulder. You're gonna just be in the drop center, but center and then up to the edge and up to the edge and then cut it off. Where I start, it didn't say any specifics. Now this is my first time doing this, but just so I have an idea, I have a mark. Let's start in front of where I just drilled the hole. And hopefully this stuff sticks. and it's not sticking at all. Let's take a rethought here. I use some mineral spirits, and then you're just supposed to lay it over, and it doesn't seem to be sticking very well. Like the rim is too cold or something, because it was frozen before. I don't know. It's just not quite sticking. Maybe it was the beginning of the tape had an issue. See back here? Barely sticking right there. So let's cut that off. They say you don't stretch it. You just layer, as you can see, just layer in. And then press it in as you go. And I guess it's kind of hard to find exact details on like really exactly like, it's just not sticking, guys. This is not sticking. And I use mineral spirits. Why aren't you sticking? I don't know how well is it supposed to stick. Okay, I got the answer for why it's not sticking. It's just the rim was too cold, guys. So you need to make sure your rim is heated up. And just a little bit of heat is getting it to, the tape is starting to fall in and create a nice seal. So I'm just using a little heat, careful. And there, the tape just needs a little bit of heat. The tape was cold too, frozen in my bin. So I just need to preheat up the rim, really. Preheat up the rim. Just trying to get it. And as I pull on it, and then just let it fall into position. And sticking. Now you can see it's kind of sticking. I should have just heated up the whole tape. Okay, and again, just laying that down. What we're doing is we're trying to protect. It doesn't actually do any sealing. The sealing is done on the bead. And that's this thing actually spreads and pushes and then locks the tire into the rim, like an entire rim lock, and that's what creates the seal. I can feel it melt in my fingers, you know, so it's not going to do it too much. Reach the end of it, and so now I'm going to pull to this side and right to the edge of the shoulder. And we don't want it on the edge, just down below the edge, right guys? This is my first time doing this, so bear with me. If we have any issues, I'll re-edit the video and take this out. And now I'm going to crisscross to the other side from here and go right across, down through the center, and up the other side into the drops, and just inside of the rim there. It sticks to itself really nicely. Nice and loose, just let it fall in so you're not stretching the tape. So that's not going to do you any favors later on. Oh, and there's the end. Down. There we go. So now I'm going to backtrack and make sure it is all nicely pressed in. Nice triple seal. Just in the drop center, just below the edge of the drop center. I might have gone a little high in some areas actually when I first started on the left side right here, but should be okay. So the next step, guys, is to remove the tape over the holes for the valve stem, the bigger one and the smaller one. Now you could go about that a few ways. You could just use a knife to cut it, or you could take a drill bit, just so I know exactly where the center is anyways, and then just kind of stab her through. Ooh. Don't do what I just did. I figured out the best technique was to actually use appropriate size pen. So here is a smaller pen, and I cut it the best I could, but then I used the pen to kind of force it down, and then I was able just to use the knife to cut the edges a little bit. So, and I did the same thing on here. I found a pen that was fatter and fit perfectly. Now I can take the tubeless and have it get and align those pieces to line up with the holes perfectly. Interior detailer, you know, something for lubricant. I'm just gonna lube up and we're gonna line up the holes to essentially fit the rim. If you know what I'm talking about, the rim holes, it's just into this little rim lock system. Just to give you a better idea, it just goes in this, it just pushes against it. It's just a little off, so I can just move just slightly right there like that. Again, I'm lining up with the holes. So now I can remove this lock nut and then we'll start to put it on the rim. So I removed the hex nut off of the rim lock, which is going to be the low pressure, and I got the high pressure lined up. I'm going to try to get them to go into the tire now. And they say, of course, lube the whole orange device. There's 1 and 2. And now I should be able to just kind of force the whole thing on with the lubricant. Maybe a little more lube up here actually on the outside. I didn't really lube the outside too much to get the rim there. And I'm just, you can use a tire spoon, but I didn't even bring them with me right now. So let's try to do it by hand. It's getting kind of tough. To help with the process, let's make sure that this is squeezed into the drop center. Squeezing it to make sure it stays decent. I need to go get a tire spoon. My broken thumb doesn't like this. Now I got air in the bladder, so that might help if I take some air out actually. So we'll come back, guys. I'll remove some air. I need to get a valve stem tool. Let's warm up the bike a little bit. Let's check the angle on the truck. All right. Oh, I f***ing forgot my goggles. Go get my freaking goggles. Music's playing. There they are. We're going clear goggles today. Man, I'm getting old. Okay, so I removed the valve stem and I got a couple tire irons. Make sure it's in the drop center everywhere. And essentially, I'm gonna go underneath the whole thing and take another bite. Just take a little bite. Trying to get it to go on. It's definitely fighting me a bit. So I'm just gonna hold this side. Man, it is freaking becoming tough to get that on. You know, it's all in the drop dead center. Now just this last little part. It's like it doesn't want to fit. And the last little bit. Just trying to get this fucking thing on. Oh, come on. Why is it not coming? This whole thing is so slippery. Oh, come on. It isn't like this in the instructions. It's got the air part on, but not the whole damn thing, which is not what I want. Now it's kind of jammed. Like I want to take it off. Bullshit. Well, that's not good. I can't get. Now it's stuck on halfway. This is freaking bullshit. Oh, I'm really in a bad place right now because it's like just the edge went over. That's not what I want. God damn it! I hate this thing. Oh, it's just jammed. It's just jammed. Alright, you guys have heard enough of me swearing. It's not a good shot. Oh, slippery. Put on the gas. Second. Where's it go? Sharp rock. After all those swear words, I finally got the tire iron up and over and got it on. What I ended up doing is putting it on the floor and pushing down on this rim lock to give just a little more room, and then just kind of forced it over So I was just on the thing and pushing down as I'm trying to curl it over. Hopefully I didn't wreck the edges of this big old blunt object. So let's see if it holds air, guys. That's the next step. So I put the valve stem back in. I don't think I got the end on good enough. Come on! I'm not in the mood! There's 90, 100 psi. Let's see if it's leaking. Well, good. Anyways, you can see how it expanded. So that's your rim protection. There's a bam. Smash it. It's gonna keep the tire up off the rim edges. Protect the rim. Next step is they give you this thing to put down in the tire. And so I gotta go grab my tire. The tire is gonna be squished between the rim. The bead is going to be squished between the tubeless system and the rim. So that's what's going to create the seal to have the tubeless chamber, essentially, which would be air would be released through this one, and then this is, you know, your 100 psi tube right there. So I'm going to put on it's a Shinko 505 cheater. It's a 110/100. I mean, it would have been nice to have like a 130, 140, but I had this tire for the Mousse already, and and for the Mousse has to fit the tire, and so that's why I have it. And whatever, I'm sure the 110 will grip just awesome. It'll be easier to steer, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, this is kind of cool trail. Woo! Oh, I need to get those bark bushers. Oh, watch the head. Watch the... Oh, I just nicked it. That flap. Oh, there's a cliff side. Lean inward. Nice side. Woo! Hopefully there's no tree down on the trail. Step one, I'm going to remove that 100 psi. And I don't think this tire's directional. Let me take a look. Lube up the tire, just floating around that drop center. We just want to get that into the tire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sit on the tire, get some squish on it, get that rim lock in there. This is kind of awkward. This is my first time doing this, guys, so bear with me. There we go. It gives me gap in the bottom. And then we grab our spoon. Start like right here. You need to just kind of sit on it. You can see the problem is keeping the weight on it as you're working. It's kind of awkward to try to stay seated. My back is sore too. So that plate is holding the back in. The tire is so squished. Huh, look at that. Keeping pressure a little bit. Oh, I just had a little gap on the back. Oh, there it is. Well, there we go. So we can take this plate out the back now. It's in there. It fell on the tire. It's fallen in one side a little far. No. It's just moving around, guys. It's in the tire, but not in the tire. I don't know what I'm doing, but it locks in like that. Some spray fluid. Some inside the damn tire too. You might have never done this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. More like a tire now. We'll make sure that's in the drop center. I don't want to wreck the tire's bead. I just suck at this. Take a break. For all those guys who are like, oh, it's winter, my bike's winterized, well, look at this. I'd say this is worth dirt biking. Oh, look at these, there's those switchbacks. Oh. Whoa. Whoa. Where's the trail go? Oh, there we go. So starting opposite of the rim lock, which means I'll start on this side. So now I can finally use my NOMAR machine, lubricate it. I don't know if it's going to work with the tubeless system. Let's finish on what we're doing then with the spoons. Just getting tighter and tighter, that's the problem. I don't know what I'm doing. Normally, okay, get my body behind it, push down. Spinning the whole wheel. Ugh. The tire is so f***ing stretched. Almost there, guys. Almost. Just on the last little inches. I've just been using lots of lube and trying to get this more into the drop center. On the opposite side. Using a couple of yellow things. Spacing her down. Getting some leverage. Get that tire down in that drop center. Make sure it's in the drop center. So it's in the drop center, and then this should give me some more room over here. I don't want to tear the damn tire. Almost there. Just gotta get this last little bite in there. That's not good. That's dangerous. Dangerous. I think a hammer's gonna do it. It's not far enough. Can't even get it. I'm just scratching my rim. Unfreaking believable, this tire. It's so freaking tight. These yellow things are just to hold it in the drop center. A whole bunch of them. I scratched the shit on my rim. Holy shit, guys. Why did I even bother learning that shit? Should have learned it on my RMZ rims. Such a hard freaking tire. So I put the valve stem back in, of course. My back can't take this bending over. 111, 105, whatever. It's not leaking, thank God. So I need to get the hand pump out now. 120? Now it says torque 9 foot-pounds. I got just just over 100 inch-pounds, 12 Newton meters. So I got my Seattle Tool little torque wrench. Okay, so let's keep going up. So there was 70 up to 100. 100 inch-pounds, okay. So, final steps. I put the red valve stem on the 120 PSI regular valve stem, and then you lock the little lock nut up to the cap. You don't lock her down. You want it to be a little bit movable. And then now you set the PSI you want the tire. So we're gonna go say 6 PSI. So go back to this guy. But right now it says 0. And it's leaking. We're trying to get it to seat. Well, it's complete fucking failure. All right, well, let's keep going, see where it goes. Second gear. Whoa! It's pure ice. Whoa! Unless it's just leaking at the end. Maybe I'll get the pump out, because that didn't work at all. Unless I'm running at 0 PSI. Fuck. Okay, it's going up, guys. It wasn't getting on the end of that one. There's 10. Let's take it up to 20 just for the hell of it. It's a lot of pumping, huh? You can see I scratched the hell out of my rim though in that final section. That's it. It was pretty much a total failure on my part. Anyways, guys, stick to Superbike tires. That was one struggle for me, guys. So now, put some tools away. Ah, my broken thumb. Ah, there we go. So 14 for the torque. Anyway, that's in the other. It's on the tire machine right now. Now I get to try that 505. Okay, guys, my first break of the day. Stopped down near the highway, but everything is going according to plan for all items except for one. So we got the Midas C19 front. We got the 505 Cheater rear from Shinko. I got the Troy Lee Designs SE4 helmet. I got the Spy goggles. I got the Dango helmet mount, whatever. I put it on my chin. And yeah, and then brake guards and all that other stuff as well. And a 52 rear sprocket. And the Pro Circuit pipe. And the Tugger strap. Oh yeah, and the Tugger strap. Oh yeah, and the one finger Midwest Mountain Engineering brake guard. So anyways, of all of that, everything is working awesome except for this rear tire. You can see the 505 is just picking up the mud and the ground. It looks like there's gonna be traction, but it slops right off. So then you just whoop, slide right out. And it just pulls the surface right off the ground. And then there's a little bit of ice everywhere. So the ground underneath the surface is frozen, so you slide across the top surface. Oh yeah, let's check that brake guard. Oh yeah, so I'm gonna, it's hanging on there. So I'm gonna take some PSI out of the rear. I got 10 in the front, and I got 8 in the rear. I should drop the front to 8, and I should drop the rear to 6. Anyways, guys, my name is Marcel Ernie. 2020 KTM 300 XC TPI. Bike is running awesome. Gummy tire. Right now, there's 30 PSI in here. I just want to make sure when I come back the next day or two that it's still 30 PSI. And then I'll know I won't have a slow leak by starting with a high pressure. Anyways, guys, my name is Marcel Ernie, pro superbike racer, amateur dirt biker, and first time tire installation in my life for a dirt bike with the tubeless as well as a second first. So 2 firsts today. And scratch my rim. That's 3 firsts today. And I got my jacket all dirty, so I got to head to the laundromat as a Superbike wanderer. Peace. I think I got time for one more trail. Let's take the upper route. Yeah. Second gear. More side tracking, hill tracking. This is done. So to summarize, this helmet is working beautiful for me. Oh, that didn't take me anywhere. Troy Lee Design helmet is fitting fantastic. It's so light compared to my old shoey. The front is next. So I learned my lesson with the cold tires last time. So this should not be too hard now. 1, 2, and then while this thing's up a little bit, 3, 4, okay. I can take the bead buddy out. And pretty much get off the first half. There's your OEM tube. Finally gonna put on that Midas 19 super soft C19 yellow stripe front. Tire has been warm in Q-Man's shop, and I was thinking I could check where the balance point was, but obviously with the rim lock is the bottom of the weight, so that's that. And we should be able to just wiggle this freaker on here. Oh, maybe. This is all experiment for me. I'm trying the garbage bucket system.